Yay for producers. I appreciate you. Welcome back to Back on Track. We are here live today with Ashleigh Early. Oh, I am so excited for this conversation, y'all. Before we get into it, if you've been with us for a while, you know why we rebranded. We stopped having tea and started getting to work, because right now I'm seeing too many founders and marketing leaders spinning their wheels. You're doing more, but you aren't moving forward. And one of the biggest places I see companies get stuck, it's in this magical thinking that if you just hire a shark sales leader, revenue will solve itself. You know the drill. A founder realizes growth has stalled. They panic. They go out and hire a head of sales to come in and save the day. I may not be speaking from experience, but maybe I'm speaking from experience. They hand them a laptop, a quota, and absolutely no marketing support, no air cover, no brand, and just go make it rain. And 6 months later, that sales leader is burnt out. The founder is frustrated, and you're back to square one. Today's guest recently drew a line in the sand about exactly this. Ashleigh Early is the CEO of the other side of sales, and frankly, she's family to us here at MKG. We've been in the trenches together on client projects, and early this year, she actually came in to help MKG get our own sales house in order. So I've seen her work firsthand. Recently, Ashleigh put up a post on LinkedIn that made me stop scrolling. She said that moving forward, she will not join an organization that doesn't have marketing function in place. That is a bold stance in this economy, but she's right. You cannot build a stable house. Today, we are going to dig into that decision. We're going to talk about why sales isn't a magic wand, and why you can't hero sell your way to scale, and how we can actually align these two teams so nobody burns out. Ashleigh, welcome to the show.
Oh, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun.
It is. I mean, I just posted the event like less than an hour ago, and it's already getting some traction. So clearly we struck a nerve. And you're posted too. Your post,
that did shockingly well. It was kind of I'm not going to lie, and it's anyone who works in social media says it's those posts that you make kind of out of rage that tend to do really well. Mine either go nothing or they do well, like this one. This one was definitely if you look at the time, I think I posted it like 10 o'clock at night, and I was like, I'm done. Fine. Screw it. I'm going to say I'm like, but yeah.
Yeah. You drew a line in the sand. So what was the ball that broke the camel's back?
Honestly, it was another client engagement ending and not ending the way I wanted it to. You know, when I come in as a sales leader, I am not a marketer. I can speak a fair amount of marketing, but I am not a marketer. I don't want to be a marketer. I have too much respect for all of the marketers out there to even attempt to pretend any sort of expertise. What I do is basically take what you guys do and make you look really good by getting as many of them to convert as possible, while also giving you feedback on what we're hearing from the market, from clients, get those feedback loops in place. That's what I do as that shark sales leader. That said, I had too many projects in the past 3 years that exactly the situation you described at the top, Carrie, where they're like, oh, we just need sales. The product's great. It's all this stuff. Here's a list of people. Just go get us some clients. And every single time I fell into the fallacy that a lot of salespeople and sales leaders fall into, which is, oh, I'm good at what I do. I'm just going to go make some sales because the product's so good, it'll sell itself. And we all know that's not how it works. And in every single case, 3-6 months later, they've got a playbook. They've got 4 different ways it doesn't work. And I'm left in myself thinking, wait, what am I doing wrong? And it finally over the summer kind of hit with the last one of these that happened. And it was very quickly actually where we at MKG even had a similar conversation. We're like, it's actually not an issue with sales per se. It's an issue with how things are being perceived, reputation, a bunch of other different things. But I kind of had the last one of these, and I was talking to another friend who was a marketer. And the thing that kicked off the aha moment was when I mentioned that I was doing a lot of ICP and persona workshops. And this person is also a marketer. And they said, what the heck are you doing running persona and ICP workshops? Like, well, it's sales. We do ICP and persona all the time. We use that for everything that we do. And this person was like, no. Marketing does persona and ICP, and then sales builds off what we do. And that's what I'd always done at bigger companies when I've run teams, when I've run sales or SDR teams. I always had built it off of marketing, and I realized every single time I'd done one of these sales engagements where I was the first sales leader in, or doing a fractional sales hire, try and help just get it off the ground, get a couple clients. When I built the stuff from scratch, not that what I built was wrong, but because there wasn't the engine behind it to validate, to have the presence, to create the gravitas. And it's not even about creating MQLs. This isn't me saying, oh my God, I need hand-ins. No, I'll still outbound. But the outbounding will not work unless there is that marketing behind it to validate the company, to create the buzz, and to just move things forward. And so people come into the funnel a little bit later than full cold. And so it turned into me going, wait a minute. So I was falling into that wishful thinking, because who doesn't want some money, especially when it looks like it's easy money? But that's the thing. If it looks easy, it ain't.
Sure.
Right. So it's falling into that. No. Okay. So now if you're an early stage company and you want to bring me in as a fractional leader, I'm happy to talk to you, but you either need to have marketing in place, or you need to be bringing on a Carrie or someone of her stature who knows how to stand these things up from scratch.
Appreciate you. We actually just did a project together where we did this. We did.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I was able to take that positioning and messaging off of your hands and let you focus on more of the sales playbook and how you're going to help them build a sales team, and not just, I mean, what was your perspective on that working relationship in terms of like not having to do that piece of it?
It was really helpful. More than anything, it helped because we were creating that resonance, so that when we actually went to market, we could test, was this working, was this not? So rather than if sales does it by itself, it's going to take twice as long to get the information, to talk to people, to figure out what's working, what's not, versus when marketing is working with sales, we're basically getting 2 bites of the same apple at once. So we can go, yes, we've got more data that says this is working, this isn't. And when you're working, especially from scratch, budgets are tight. You don't have the time or the capital to be, dropping 50K. And let's be honest, salespeople are expensive, and we pay for ourselves once we've got something that works.
Yes.
Marketing, in a weird way, never looks like it pays for itself until sales gets into play. So marketing gets this really weird reputation as this like cost center. But you take marketing away, and that's the one thing I think one of my key messages from 2025 is you take marketing away and everything gets 50% harder.
Yeah. What about that? You mentioned the positioning and messaging. Obviously, that's the backbone to everything.
Yeah.
Everything for marketing and sales. But what do you think, especially from a marketing perspective, you're getting that makes your job so much easier beyond just the positioning and messaging? Or is that really it? Is that really
it's
important?
For me, at least, it's the subtleties of it. I like to think I'm a wordsmith. I'm a pretty good writer. But that said, there's nuances to personas. There's nuances to these ICPs that marketers do that sales doesn't. And when marketing is not there, we will fill it in the gaps, and we will fill it in wrong. So what I mean by that is, like, for example, if we say we're going after SaaS companies between 500 and 5,000 employees with a subscription model, who are primarily in, fintech and something money related, like they're in that financial space. And we are specifically going to be targeting heads of IT, right? Salespeople are like, great, those are my filters in my sales tool. Off I go, watch me run. Marketing will come in and go, who are dealing with X, who think about this way, who think about it this way, who consume information this way. That nuance makes all the difference in the world between how I talk to them, how I'm approaching them, the methodologies that I'm using, the channels I'm using. Are these people who are on LinkedIn? Are these people who are on X or Twitter? Are these people do I need to be getting into them through the people underneath them? Which means maybe I should be using other types of social selling or going to in-person events. How do I talk to them? Is this somebody who is a, very strict kind of from the financial world? So we need to write to them in a much more formal way. Do I need to make sure I'm getting good with their secretary because they have a secretary and they call them a secretary? Or on the flip side, is this someone who is, fresh out of Stanford MBA? They're super, I can get away with sending them a pair of, send them a North Face vest as a gift, and they'll be like, woohoo, it's a vest. You know, it's a completely different thing on my side, but that makes it. It's those little details that I can fill in, but I'll fill them in wrong, basically, is what kind of I've learned. And it's not that they're the wrong people. It's that voice of the company. And the other side of it too is the kind of the who we help, who we don't help, and how to talk about the product. So getting into the nuances of here's kind of exactly what we do. Here's the value we provide. And then also here's kind of the stuff to avoid. We don't say this. We don't offer this. We don't do blank. Don't get pulled into this. Salespeople, salespeople are by their very nature. I think of us as kind of like water. We will find every little crack and we will go through it to get the deal. That means that we sometimes don't always necessarily do what is best for even ourselves, let alone the company. Right?
Yeah.
And that's not that we're doing anything malicious or bad. This is not saying people are doing anything manipulative or illegal. But we're just going to follow the path of least resistance. It's who we are. That's why we're in sales. But marketing in a lot of ways gives you those guardrails so that we basically stay on our own good side and keep acting in our best interest and in the best interest of the company. So that's kind of, when it comes to the messaging and positioning, that's the stuff that I didn't realize that a lot of these smaller companies were missing, and makes a big, big deal when it's in place. And add to that, when that's being subconsciously reinforced in everything the company puts out, game changer.
Even from the simplest of documents, right? Having that white paper branded and having it speak in a certain way to that audience, like
a little update. Like, I really liked some of the stuff like you came up with for this shared client that we did for South Left. We did a lot of stuff around making recommendations to the website around like just it's a lot of little subtle tweaks, but it makes a big difference when it's all added up. So that's
the audience's language, right? And so there's a lot of research that has to go into that, and then that becomes the backbone. All of that research, all that information, all that knowledge then becomes the backbone for everything from marketing's messaging all the way down through to sales. And how you speak to somebody from a one-to-many versus a one-to-one, right? You're right. There's just so much detail and nuance, and you have a big enough job that you don't need to be. I feel like there's this shift that's happening, especially with AI in the mix, where there's this expectation of people. There was already this underlying expectation of unicorns and finding people who can wear multiple hats, right? But I think now with AI, that's becoming even more of an expectation. Are you finding that on this? Like, you're starting to talk about it a little bit with the expectation of being a seller, but then having to do some marketing efforts. Is that, and now you're sort of drawing this line in the sand. Is that because you're just seeing more of it?
Oh, I've been seeing it for ages. Basically, I can think back to like my first head of sales fractional gig. They were constantly like, "Hey, could you just write up a landing page?" No. Why? No. Why are you? No, you don't want me to. One, that's not a good use of my time. Two, I can do it, but it won't be necessarily any good. And three, why? That's always something. You're looking for resources. They think, oh, you know how to write. Yes, I know how to write what I do. I don't know how to write this other stuff. And now AI, you're right, absolutely makes that worse. It's like, oh, can you just take what you know and like combine it with AI? No. And again, that's something where I think we on the revenue side of the house need to be our marketing peers allies and be like, no. That's not what I do. And not only, and I'm not going to do it, not only because I won't do it well, but because out of respect for people that I know how to do this, here's 10 people who can do this for you. They'll charge you completely fair prices. It's worth every cent. And kind of insisting on that. So that's part of it. The other side of it too, I'm having more and more conversations where it's like, oh, well, we don't need to hire sales. We'll just do it all with AI. And it's kind of the same. If you're like, oh, I don't need marketing. I could just design it all in Gamma. No, you can't. Can you get a V1? Yes, but then please go take that to a professional. Just like, yes, you can do some basic diagnosis on ChatGPT. It's better than Google, but then go take it to a doctor. Go take it to a professional. AI is so far away from being able to do what we do at the level that we do it. And it's funny because I know you and I both use AI a ton.
Yep.
A ton. But they aren't paying me for, like, even when people buy a GPT from me for their sales team, they're buying the GPT, yes. But what they're buying is me training the GPT with my brain. That's not the GPT, that's my brain. Now, it's a lot easier to do that now. Congratulations. You don't have to do quite as much like coaching, for example. You don't have to do what used to be a $20,000 coaching package can now become a $10,000 coaching package because I can give you this you can play with in the meantime. Great. That's fine. Am I going to still charge you like another $6-7 grand? Am I going to charge you some good money for that? Yes, you bet your butt I am. But that's the subtle thing here. It's that like it can get you close, but it can't do the whole thing. And you can't. The people who I see who have tried to build their entire pipeline, either heavily marketing or heavily sales on AI itself, or people who are figuring it out with AI, a lot of them I think aren't understanding as well how AI works in terms of AI does not believe in IP.
Oh, yeah. No, not at all.
Nope. So it will give you an answer and it'll give 30 other people the same answer. And now all of you are doing the same thing. I used to joke, my party trick used to be I could tell how old someone was by their thoughts on Salesforce. Now it's, I can tell, I say, I've done this at a bar a couple times. I'll say, pull up a spam email that you got, or pull up a cold email you got this week. And I can tell them which bot wrote it. I can tell if it was Apollo. I can tell if it was Clay. I can tell if it was Gong or something like that. I can now spot most of them pretty accurately because I recognize the voice, because that's where I live. That's my side of the house. And I bet you anything, I mean, the marketers are probably the same way. We're like, oh, you made that with AI carousels. Oh, you did this with there. Oh, I see what you did with this. It's fine, but you have to understand that you have to do that personalization, that brand, that uniqueness that AI can't do. It never will.
Nope.
Not in our lifetimes. I thoroughly believe in. I'm a huge fan of AI. I'm a huge fan of technology. I'm a massive sci-fi nerd. I welcome our robot overlords, but they are people don't realize how far away we are from them actually doing what we're doing. So I was like, it's dead. I'm so not worried. It's really funny.
I'm definitely, I'm not worried. I believe that AI works best when it's in the hands of the expert. So I talk about this. I think this is probably the third week in a row I've talked about this, but it just irked me to no end. There was an ad that ran on LinkedIn, and it was a beautiful DSLR lens that they had smashed to pieces to make a point that now you can use AI to, do videography. And I was just like, you have just ruined your ICP. You are not talking to your audience, because people who are going to be making videos with your tool it's going to be AI slop, because they don't know what they're doing. What you want to be doing is talking about how these videographers can make their jobs easier thanks to your tool, not alienating them by destroying this gorgeous piece of equipment that just broke all of our hearts into a gazillion pieces.
I'm still, that doubly hurts me, because I'm a huge fan of actual film photography.
Same.
So I'm also like, no, like I'm still pissed Kodak went under, and now we're losing all the chemicals and everything, so we can't do proper development anymore. Like I'm still bitter.
I was dragged out of the darkroom kicking and screaming. They were like, I'm sorry. I'm like, I hate you all. At least it was still
my husband was the same. He was also a black room guy, dark room guy.
The days. Amazing. We see this all the time. Founders looking for a hero to come in and save the quarter. Why is that hero seller model unsustainable, and how quickly does it usually fall apart without marketing backing it up?
The only time a hero seller works, and I will say this because it can work, the only time it works is when someone comes in with a network that they are willing to basically burn.
What's that mean?
Okay, so what I mean by that is this is sales lingo a little bit here. But basically, burning a network means you're basically going to harass everyone in until they buy from you, which means you're cashing in every favor. You're calling in all the IOUs. You're using all of your social capital to get these people to take meetings and then buy from you. And that can work really well, but it's a product you believe in and you've got great stock and it's going to go public and then you retire at the end of it. There are I know tons of people who have made literally tens of millions of dollars this way, doing this at 2 or 3 different companies. So they kind of work their way up, get that book of business, go to a new company, bring over a bunch of whales, then go to a new company, bring over a new bunch of whales, and then a new company, bring over a bunch of whales. That's where a hero seller can work because you're buying access to that person's network.
Okay.
So that can work, but you have to be very explicit. Like there have been more than there has been at least 2 engagements where I was very clear up front. They're like, oh, well, you're an influencer and you have all this stuff and you can do these things. Bring me on. Like, well, why aren't you just calling your people at this? You're connected to so-and-so. You're connected to Henry Shunk at Zoom Info. Why haven't you called him? Because I'm not burning that card for you. You're not paying me enough for that. But basically it's that sort of thing. So even no matter how clear you are with, like, you have to be very clear with your sellers. What is their network? Who are they bringing in? And that sort of thing. If you're looking for someone to build from scratch, that's not going to work simply because you don't have a system. So I work with founders a lot, and when they're going to bring a salesperson on, the difference between a sales hire who comes in and succeeds and a sales hire who comes in and flops, whether it's a leader or an IC, is the level of support and the level of road they have. Now, it's not to say if someone's not performing, you get them out, but you have to measure for the first 6 months, you have to measure inputs, not outputs. And then by 6 months, you should start seeing outputs. So inputs are effort. So calls, emails, strategy, social touches, conversations that are happening, all that stuff. Outputs are meetings that are held, that are actually pipeline, what pipeline is being generated, demos that are starting, revenue, stuff like that. It takes, even if it's a 2-week sales cycle, it is very, 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 very hard to bring in a seller who's not a founder and have them fully subsidizing their own role, let alone the rest of the company, in under 6 months. Now, if you give them a system, you can get them there in 3 to 6 months. If you don't give them a system, it's flipping a coin. It's not even flipping a coin, it's rolling a die.
And the system being?
System is having some initial plays you think will work. So taking what the founder's done that's been successful. I'm also very clear, do not hire a salesperson until you as a founder have found some success. If you as a founder have not been able to sell your product, then you need to get a sales coach and do that. Hi, my name is Ashleigh Early. You can also hire me to do those, but you need to get your own sales first. Then once what's worked for the founder, that gets translated to, okay, here's the play that we can run for a sales rep. So you have somewhere to start. You need to have this base marketing, this base online identity in place. That's where marketing comes in, all that nuance around persona and ICP we talked about, having an online presence, having a solid website. There's one company I can think of that I worked with in the past that the red flag that tells me now I should have walked away was when he was resistant to updating his website.
Oh dear.
Because the website made no sense to me and I was kind of the target buyer. And I'm like, if it doesn't make sense to me,
how am I supposed
to sell this to anybody? And I can't send this website to anyone because it's going to confuse them.
You're back to my job harder.
Yeah, you need that online validation, even if it's a 5-person company. You still need that to be there, and you need that to look bigger than you are. You need some basic tools. So you need a CRM, you need some sort of email platform, you need some sort of dialer, you need some sort of social. And then you need some structure for how we're going to work together. So what are the KPIs? What's the meeting rhythm? What support do you have? Kind of those basic things. If you don't have that, I don't care how seasoned the sales rep says they are. That's really hard to do. And honestly, that's more luck than anything else. And that's what makes it unsustainable, is it's luck. If it's luck, you can't bank on it. But when there's a system, you can tweak, you can iterate, you can build. So that's a big thing. A lot of companies, a lot of slightly larger companies will call me in and they're like, we did great for 2 years, but now we're plateaued. And I'm like, great, what worked? And they're like, well, we have these 2 reps. And I'm like, oh no, you don't actually know what worked. And that's a hard pill to swallow, is oh, I just have people who know what works. And now I've got to go work with those people, figure out what they know. Do they know anything? And kind of go from there and then rebuild from that. But then the good news is it's not hard to do. It just needs to happen. A lot of people equate revenue with success and with predictability. And I don't care if the revenue is predictable. If you can't say how you got the revenue, it's not predictable. Just like in marketing, if you can't tell where your MQLs are coming from, they're not MQLs.
Yep. Yep. Marketing is interesting. It is, I mean, it's an interesting world because what you're talking about, just being thoughtful here, because it's an argument that I've been having a lot lately. Not an argument per se, but just like sort of around a lot of discussion around attribution and sort of this last click of like knowing where the MQLs are coming from. And sometimes it's the system that is producing the MQLs, not necessarily a single input into that system.
Yeah.
And I think you're even saying that a little bit with sales too. Why the system is so important is because it's not because you made that cold call. It's because you did the cold call, the text, the follow-up, you have an online presence. Like sales is connected into the sales and marketing each have their own systems and they're connected and they feed each other that way too. So I just think the system is so important. And I think it's as important to double down to say, and it's not because you're going to go and say, okay, this one thing worked, let's just keep doing that one thing. You want to get the system up because it's going to be the holistic thing working as an engine that then produces those MQLs on a sustainable cadence.
Yeah. So and not only that, you need multiple engines running. That's the bigger thing. Is it's not just about having one engine. It's like you mentioned engines, and I'm like my brain immediately goes, okay, well there's, if you go back, and I'm not a car person, but I know the basics. Like most cars are 4 or 6 cylinder. Then you've got V8, which is a specific V piston combination. And what makes it work is the fact that you've got all these different things firing at the same time in a specific sequence. Now, when you start with one piston, it just goes up and down and it makes it go, but that doesn't generate a lot of power. But then you get 2, 4, 6 and build from there. That's what we're doing with sales and marketing. It's about getting all those little things combining together to push the car forward.
Yes. And we at MKG talk about it from when we talk about engines, we talk about train tracks. And if you think about every channel as a destination along the customer journey, getting an engine, getting a track connected and running just to one destination, and then linking them and having all these different destinations linked through these different systems then creates that customer journey as well that ultimately creates. So lots of analogies, that we could throw around. But we're all talking about the same thing, which I love. And I love a good analogy. So I'm here for that for sure. When you came in earlier this year to help us, you got under the hood of our own operations. And from your perspective, we didn't really, in total honesty, because we build in public here, it didn't work. And it's for all the reasons you were saying. We brought you in sort of, I don't want to say necessarily as a hero, because I was building alongside of you.
No, and we were very clear to start with too, around like, I was not going to be prospecting very much. We do some social selling, we do some limited network access, but we were very clear around like, my goal was to come in and kind of help you sell better, build a process, potentially look at seeing if hiring a salesperson was the right thing to go to after a quarter or two. But it was more about like, what's happening? Let's start with just what's happening. Why have the past 2 years gone down the way they did?
Yeah. And I, looking back, my big aha moment for you of like feeling like we didn't really support you the way that we should have is because we didn't have marketing yet. We were in the midst. We were like, okay, this year we're going to figure out our positioning and messaging. We're going to really dial in this, social selling. We're going to get our systems and processes around social up and running. But we were sort of cart before the horse.
Well, the other thing I think, again, kind of full transparency, I think that we messed up on a little bit was we overbid in terms of built an over-reliance on a third-party appointment setter. Because a big thing when I came in was, hey, we've hired this third-party appointment setter. They're going to be getting us
we did try
5-6 meetings a month. If you can convert one of those, and then that never happened.
No, that did not work.
we got to do a whole other show on third-party appointment setters. Feel free to hit me up if you have thoughts on there, because basically I found a couple that work really well, but it's 95% are a waste of time.
But again, you have to have,
and I think a lot of them are a waste of time because people are, again, doing that same thing where they're putting the cart before the horse. They don't have that solid marketing, but also because a lot of these places will bucket into sort of things, so they won't give the nuance that you need to get those sales conversations going. So
yeah, that positioning and messaging, right? So like you can bring in the, you know, those, they can bring in the leads to you, but if you don't have the right thing to say to them that's going to resonate, then our big thing was we didn't know why we were different. We couldn't articulate until recently. We're just another digital marketing agency.
Like
that's
the
really
thing
what
that was rather genius, and I still think is true, was this idea of, and I've taken this to a couple other companies now, not competitors, but like this idea of kind of how people are thinking about their job, but also kind of where they are in their careers. So this idea of thinking about MKG's pipeline, not just in terms of today, but in a year, 2 year, 3 years from now. So let's get marketers now. They're at the smaller companies that don't have a marketing agency yet.
Yes.
Build that trust, and then they will ride with them as they go up in their career. We'll go with them, and using that as a vehicle to go up market, I think is still a really good, interesting idea. But again, it's that same thing. We're still going to find that first thing. It's how are we different? What's interesting? What's that USP?
Yep. Where are we going to build that trust?
I'll say this, and I've worked with a lot of companies, I'd say the past year especially, that are getting pulled into the price wars, where it's coming down to price, and everyone just ends up basically racing to the bottom. And so I've been working with a lot more companies lately with support of marketing to be like, okay, what exactly is it that makes us premium? What exactly is it that they're buying? And then I work with the sales team on how to reframe those conversations. So it's great. Yeah, you want to do that. That's fine. But this isn't about price, because our price is our price. That's fair for what you're going to get out of it. If you genuinely think they can get these results for that price, go for it. Wish you the best. Would love to understand more about what they're doing. But for what we do, because as I understand it, we do XYZ different than them. And this XYZ is what makes this, and then people go, oh, it's premium. Oh, I get what I pay for. Then all of a sudden it's a different conversation. Now it's a conversation about what's needed and kind of really unique pain points versus what's the word? A commoditized market where it's just you're trying to find the best price on hay.
Yep. Yeah. And we couldn't really, pain points. You really couldn't figure out what was it for those marketers and for founders that we could show up and be different for them. And it really is our systems and processes and how we create that marketing engine in a way that is sustainable. It builds that sustainable growth and allows people to, like, we can literally take marketing off of a founder's plate now, which is pretty awesome, and get that in place, and then have them be able to focus on more of the vision and where they need to go, and support the sales team if it's more founder led or whatever the case may be. But that's been like the big aha moment for us, is like, we can take marketing off of a founder's plate, and the exhale that sort of follows. That's been pretty magical.
Marketing should be, unless the founder comes from marketing, in my opinion, should be probably the first thing a founder takes off their plate. Not sales, not product, but get marketing off the founder's plate. They should not be doing that.
Agreed.
Period.
Agreed.
It's just not a good use of their time or energy. And
it takes so much. It's not even like, it just takes so much time to do it well and do it right, that they just don't have the resources as an individual to make that happen. I gotta hand it to, it's very rare that we see this, but I gotta hand it to TJ, our last client, because actually didn't come from a marketing background. He's more on the product side, but he has cracked the code on this founder-led marketing thing.
He's got his identity locked in. He just slipped into that kind of visionary founder role, like it was made for him.
And he's just building in public these products for his audience. Like, there's no tomorrow. Like, it's just, he just found a thing, and his marketing is just really I mean, I came in from a positioning and messaging standpoint where I think I just was able to pull it out of him in a way that we could articulate it cleaner. But he had it. I just was able to simplify it for him.
Yeah.
And then we were able to get that on the website. He's working on the website now. But man, I have to hats off to you, TJ, for your LinkedIn magic over there. It is unusual that we see a founder.
If you want to use an example of a founder who is fully capitalizing on LinkedIn specifically, do take a look at TJ. A significant portion of his business comes from LinkedIn and LinkedIn posts. It's super. As a sales leader, I was like, oh yes, yes,
gold.
That's great. He does a fantastic job.
He does. 1 second. My daughter's here home early and she's looking at me. I'm gonna figure out what she needs. 1 minute.
Hey. Parenting is always fun. As a non-parent, I have deep respect for this. So I'm going to vamp and try and be entertaining while Carrie has to go do the actual hard work of parenting. If you're still here, tell us in the comments where you're located in this world. We can have a little bit of fun. Maybe, maybe not. It'll be good because it's live. So this is always the usual craziness, and we'll figure it out. No one's in the comments. Okay. That's making me sad. Ken,
we have Ken Marshall, who has showed up for us and is blowing up our spot over here.
I know. We had a bunch of stuff from him earlier. I think we might have lost him. I think we might have scared him away. But
we did. We weren't fast enough. You were in the pocket. I didn't want to disrupt that.
Sorry.
Yeah. That's all good. It's all good.
I'll follow back towards Ken. We're going to be friends.
Oh, yeah. Oh, do you not know Ken Marshall?
I don't think I do, actually. I think maybe we've been like circling each other because I see that a lot where like I'll see people like, I know this name. Why do I know this name? And then I realize we've like been commenting on the same post for like 3 years. So.
Okay. Well, we're going to fix that because Ken is magical. He is.
If we haven't met Ken, I'm really sorry.
He's just
I need some more coffee.
Just such good energy. I appreciate you, Ken. Let's share some, we shared some stories about some wins that we've had with other clients, some reasons why our first experience didn't really work. We learned a lot for sure, cart before the horse. Can you share some other examples of, I want to get real about the cost of not having marketing. Can you tell us a story, no names needed, and tell us a story of a time you saw a brilliant sales leader or rep fail, not because of their skill, but because the organization set them up to fail without marketing and support?
Yeah, the big one was one I mentioned where the founder was concerned about updating the website. That, in hindsight, I look at that and go, I should have run screaming. And because what happened there was we actually brought on a couple fractional SDRs, one fractional seller, one fractional SDR. And they're both people that I knew really well. These are people that I trusted. These are people who know what they're doing. And they came in and they dove in and did exactly what was asked of them, and it didn't work. And when they came back and were like, hey, this isn't working, can we get some more support? Everything completely changed every single time. So we know with iteration, how do you change one variable at a time? This was a completely different direction every single week. And then it turned into finger pointing, and it's not working, and they're not enabling us, and this and that. But the other side of it was there was never any proper collateral. There was never a proper demo. There was basically that online presence that punched above kind of the fact that this was a 3-person company. It was so blatantly obvious. And then we're trying to go after upmarket stuff. It was just never going to work.
Yeah.
So that's a really good example. And everyone gets all hooked up and like, oh, sales needs collateral and engagement. We don't need much. We really don't. We need a really good website, a very clean, easy to use, easy to navigate website with clean CTAs. Who are we for? Who are we not? We need clean brand positioning. Who do we work with? Who do we not? And how do we talk to them? We need ideally a case study, even if it's anonymized. I don't care. Some sort of a case study, some sort of a quote, some sort of social proof. That's really big. A lot of companies are like, oh, we don't have that yet. No, you need it now. Don't bring on salespeople unless you've got at least some customers or trials or beta people with some sort of testimonial. Even if it's anonymized, it's fine. We can work with that. But the other thing I'm realizing is that another big facet of the cost is the for lack of a better term, the lack of an ally. So, for example, this whole thing with the website with sales really turned into, oh, the salespeople are lazy.
Ugh.
The salespeople aren't doing their job. Oh, they should be figuring this out themselves. Why do I have to do this? And then it was, oh, well, here's what I think the website could look like. And here's what I think should be happening here. Or here's what I think should be this. And it was, oh, well, I know these people better than you do. So I think it should be this way. A marketer mirroring what I said. And you and I even had this with TJ is a great example of this, where he was like, oh, well, I hate these sort of emails. And you and I were like, we know, but they work.
Yep.
So having that two kind of, when marketing and sales agree, you know something's good. When we disagree, that's good tension. We'll figure it out. It's somewhere in the middle. But when we agree on something, like, shut up and do it, because it doesn't happen often.
Actually, that's so true. I have a client right now that I'm working with. I talk about them a lot because they're just sort of because they're mine, and my team has awesome clients and relationships, but I don't, while I know the clients and I'm acquaintances with them,
you don't own it.
They're not mine, so I don't run it. But I have this one client that I run, and I'm the marketing leader and I work with sales. And the founder was very much like, I don't want to charge $100. Like, just fill up the calendar. And if we have no shows, we have no shows, but at least we have a full calendar, and then we'll shake the tree of, the ones that are there. Like, let's not have this roadblock. And me and the sales guy, the sales guy let it go. And they took the $100 away for the first 6 months of this year. And I was like, we got to bring it back. And they were like, no, let's keep trying. And then the sales guy finally said, I'm bringing it back. This is how it's going to roll. And because we were both saying it, and we were both saying it from two different areas, the sales guy was saying, I need it because I need people to show up. I need people to show up. So when people show up, I can close them. And if they don't show up, then that's a seat that's gone that I can't fill. And I was saying it from a data perspective. I need good data. I need to know that when I say this person is booked, that they're going to show up, and I can give that data back into my platforms, and my platforms can go find more people that look like them. Yeah. Because if they're not willing to pay $100, that's either going to be refunded or go towards their planning. Then that's not a good lead that either of us want.
Yep.
And because we both said it,
I'm seeing, from a sales perspective, I am seeing more and more people put dollars on the initial calls. Like, that is an absolutely valid. It works. It works. I'm still not doing it, but it works for a lot.
I think it depends.
Depending on who you're going after. It really.
Yeah, I think B2B. Yeah, on the B2B side, if somebody's signing up for a demo, chances are they're going to show up for that, because that's just no.
Oh God. So on B2B, I hate paying for B2B meetings. Like, oh, here's a $25 gift card. Here's a $100 gift card.
Yeah, no, you can't.
Paying for meetings virtually never works. Yeah, I will say a campaign, feel free if you're running this, or feel free to, if you have a little bit extra budget this holiday season, I have seen some really good appointment setting campaigns run where it's, if you show up, we'll do $50 or $100 to a charity of your choice. That's worked really well, especially November, December, because then it's for charity. They're a little more open. They're a little more altruistic, and you can usually get them more into something interesting, and then just be good about that, and understand people who are going to jump on a meeting for $50 or $100, generally, I hate to say it, are not decision makers in B2B. And a lot of large companies have rules specifically prohibiting their employees from taking meetings like that. So
from B2B, it definitely doesn't work, but B2C,
if B2C, it works really well.
Really well, especially if you're going to give the money back. Like, if we sit down together and there's no, we're not a good fit for you, or like, we'll give you your money back. It's just to save your seat and ensure you're going to show up. But if you show up and we decide you're not a good fit, that's okay. Here's your $100 back. NBD. We've had a killer second half of the year. And I do think it is attributed to,
I think I know which client you're talking about, because I think they onboarded right before I left.
No, I had them for over a year. Yeah. Okay. I started talking. So the point is I'm to what you said earlier about sales and marketing needing to agree or initially disagree and then find a way forward together. I think is that sales and marketing alignment that everybody's like desperate for on the marketing and sales side, and needing leadership to like help support that and make that happen. This is where the good juju sort of shakes itself out, and why
it controls for founder bias. All founders have biases. All founders have blind spots. You need, and if it's just me and the founder, there's no way I'm going to shake them out of it. No matter how much they trust me or how good they are, it's a blind spot. It's a bias for a reason, even if I call it out. But if it's multiple people, different thing entirely. Then it's a lot easier to kind of go to what we know works without it looking like, oh, it's sales or, oh, it's marketing. I be like, no, trust me. That's how much this costs. Marketing's not being unreasonable here. Trust me, it's totally going to be worth it. Is it going to? That's the other thing. I get really pissed off when I hear about all these attribution fights because, like, I get it. But what matters is, are we getting the revenue? And can we see all the things that affected it?
Yes.
Reducing it down to an equation drives me freaking nuts.
You can't do it anymore.
Because you can't do it anymore. It's life. It's not that simple.
Yeah, I'm not even sure it was ever that simple. I think we just oversimplified it.
Well, we're simplifying it because we want a nice, pretty equation. So we can say, if I put in X dollars, I get Y dollars out. And I get that. But life ain't like that. Life ain't like that. And we can get,
especially when you're dealing with long sales cycles. Like, you just, it just doesn't work.
No.
Let's talk about that for a second. I think that's pretty cool. In terms of metrics, I think we're both in agreement, correct me if I'm wrong, that at the end of the day, we all need to own sort of the need for revenue.
Yeah.
From a marketing side, because this is where the rubber meets the road in terms of marketing and sales end up pointing fingers and fighting each other, is one, when they all are on the same page about all owning revenue, but sort of the MQL, SQL battle of it all. What's sort of your vision on, or your viewpoint on marketing metrics in relation to sales, of like, where should we all want to be in charge of pipeline, but we do need those leading indicators of what's actually working. So in your head, in your experience, what were some of those leading indicators where marketing showed up and said, here's this thing, we think this is what's going to help you get to that close? Is it an MQL? Is it an SQL? What is the thing?
So to me, my versions of this waterfall kind of terminology is, MQL is marketing saying, we think there's something here with this person. Then SAL, sales accept, or SQL. So MQL, SAL, SQL. So MQL is marketing saying, we think there's something here. SAL is sales going, yes, I agree, there is something here. Then SQL is sales basically saying, yes, this is now pipeline. That's, I think, kind of the best way to do it. And every company's going to define that differently. I do think those definitions need to be black and white. I'm fine doing lead scoring. I'm fine doing tabulations or whatever else. I think that's really important. I actually love lead scoring. I can talk about that a lot. When I ran SDR teams and sales teams, I was very much a marketing space about how I thought lead scoring should be done. That was a fun source of tension. Like the constant battle is always over like content syndication. Because like, hey, this person downloaded 15 white papers. That does not mean they're qualified. They're a Gmail. You can't, this person's a student. I guarantee it. They're just doing research or something,
Oh, interesting.
And there's stuff like that. I mean, the good news is lead scoring's gotten a lot better with AI. We're a lot better about doing unmasking. We're a lot better with looking at behavior patterns. Like, was it 15 white papers over 2 weeks? Was it 15 white papers in 1 day? 1 day, we don't care. 2 weeks? This is more interesting.
That's interesting.
So lead scoring is super fun. And that definitely should be a collaboration between sales and marketing, because we want to look at, and you and I have talked about this too, where it's sales will utilize what marketing is generating, but we'll take what you're doing and we'll find ways to make it bite-sized or make it low lift. So it's not, hey, check out this 15-page report. It's, hey, check out page 2. There's a really good quote about 2/3 of the way down on XYZ, which you'll find interesting. So it's personalized and relevant. It lowers the perceived lift. To read the 15-page paper. That's huge. That's okay. I'll add it to my list and I'll read it the next time I'm on a flight. Versus, oh, I can go to page 2 quick and read this thing. Yeah. So we do a lot of that, but kind of again, back to that lead scoring and the collaboration side of it. It's less about alignment in terms of we need to agree on things and more about alignment in terms of this is what the customer journey looks like. So we know when they hand it, so marketing knows when they hand it off, sales has got it. If there's a way to make it work, they will make it work 90% of the time, because that's the other side of it, is no one's perfect. Yeah. So like, will marketing give sales leads that are not good leads? Yes, that's fine. Will sales perfectly handle every single lead that marketing gives them? No. So we both need to give each other some grace. Yes. One of my big pet peeves as a sales leader was when like the head of marketing would call me and be like, I gave you 50 webinar leads 2 days ago. Where are the meetings? It's been 48 hours. Give it a minute. Oh, you haven't reached out to these 5 people yet because they're on the do not qualify. They're on the do not call list. We have to wait for emails. This takes a bit of time. Let's give each other some grace. Not everything's going to be perfect. Just like sales leaders can't get mad and be like, oh my God, 20% of those leads had bad emails. Thank you for that feedback. Maybe in the future, we won't use that list vendor, or we'll find some more scrubbing or something. Like this needs to be
and that's why the system's so important too, because you get into less of those battles once it starts compounding.
Exactly. And that's the whole thing. It's like the alignment is around, this is the journey, and we both are agreeing to trust each other and hold each other accountable to the journey. Not, these are the handcuffs we're working in, and they're not fine. No. Like the worst idea, and I remember when they announced this, I worked at a company years ago and we were about to go through an IPO, and they announced that pipeline was our biggest issue for the next year. And so as a result, they were going to have the 4 horsemen of the pipeline apocalypse. Stupidest name ever. It was going to be the SDRs, sales, channel, marketing. Each team had a number. Every manager and up was part of their pay was tied to that number. The infighting for the next 18 months was ruthless, because every single deal could only be attributed to one horseman. And it's like, no, the best deals have all of us involved. What is this? Why do we? It does not freaking matter. What matters is that they close. And then we can look at all the different influences and stuff like that. But like, that's the other thing that kills me, is especially now with AI, we can do such deeper data analysis. Where it's like, okay, great. So which source coming in for, from which source as the first touch has the highest close rate? Great. Then what source as a second touch has the highest close rate? And maybe it's marketing, channel, marketing, sales. Great. Right. We're laying a new track. That's what we're going to run. And we're going to run this persona down that track and see what we can drive. That's the level of it shouldn't be who owns this. It should be, okay, what are the common journeys and how can we recreate them and remove friction? B2C, B2B, whatever. And a lot of people just don't like doing that multivariate analysis. I don't like it either. That's why we have robots now.
But also, as marketers, we're data nerds. And so, again, we can help with that.
Yeah, never trust a marketer who doesn't get really excited about color coding a spreadsheet.
Oh man,
I'm not calling you out at all. Well, I'm laughing because I can't think of how many times Carrie and I were on calls and I'd build a quick spreadsheet and she'd be like, hang on a sec, and she just need to make the coloring right. I was like, I don't care what it looks like, it just needs to be right. And you're like, no, 5 seconds. And it looks so much better and it's so much easier to read. So like, I get it. But I've seen that across every like really brilliant marketing mind I work with. And it makes it better. Like, that's the thing, is like, I get it. It makes it better. I just get it.
Yes. It turns it into a bar graph. It's great.
Yeah.
Last question for you, Ashleigh. We could clearly talk all day. I just love hanging out with you.
It's been too long.
We just need to start our own show. We just need to do that. Yeah. Last question. If a CEO is listening to this and realizes, oh no, I've built a sales team with no support, what is the first step they need to take to get back on track? Is it hiring, outsourcing, just pausing?
If you've got a sales team already, first thing is go talk to them. What do they want? What do they need? And not like you're going to give it to them. You ain't Santa. But they will know, they will have their own biases and thoughts and stuff like that. But look for trends. Look for trends. Ask them what they want. Ask them what they think their clients want. What's their biggest hurdles. Start there. Then take that, bluntly, have those conversations, record them, dump them in the chat GPT, get some trends, turn that into an SOW or something like that, and then go talk to 5 marketers and say, here's where we're at. What would you do?
And I got to say, the beauty of the day and age we're in, which is a blessing and a curse, it's kind of a curse to marketers because it's really hard out there. And being a fractional and having to essentially now run your own business and do your own marketing and do the work for multiple companies is a whole different ballgame for sure. Blessing and curse over here. But as a founder who needs marketing, this is the time. Because the fractional market is booming and finding great expertise at a reasonable cost is possible. More possible.
And a reasonable cost does not mean cheap. If one of those 5 people comes in, if one or two of those 5 people comes in significantly less than the other ones, run. Good marketers know their worth faster than just about any other. Salespeople might be right behind marketers, but even most services better than just about any other type of fractional. Salespeople are behind there, but marketers know their worth. So that price is a really good indication of the quality you're going to get. And as with all things, you get what you pay for. So everyone's budget is different. Sometimes you can't afford the Cadillac. You can't afford the Ferrari right away. That's fine. Maybe you don't need the Ferrari, but talk to that Ferrari marketer and say, I can't afford you. Who would you hire instead? I guarantee they will recommend 4 or 5 people in your budget that will do just fine. Not as good as them, but just fine for what you need. Or they'll tell you why you're thinking about it wrong and give you some,
or break it down.
So
like,
you're making the right decision.
Then let's move slower, right? That's another option too. No big deal. Like if this is not in your budget, but you really want to work with this fractional, then talk about what can we do? Maybe we move slower.
Yeah. What's the minimum? I do the same thing. And I do the same thing on the sales side where it's like, look, okay, you do not like, and a lot of times I'm going in and slowing them down. I'm like, hey, no, don't hire 3 times this month already. I've told people don't hire. It's like, okay, you want me to come in. No, you don't want me fractionally. You want me for coaching right now. We'll do coaching for a couple months, get you settled. And then you can bring me on and I can do some extra playbook stuff. Then you can use me for hiring. But no, you don't want to hire me right now. That's a bad idea. For fractional stuff, it's going to be throwing money away unless you also have another 30 grand to give me a month to build the system, in which case I can do that. But most companies don't. So it's, what is that actual budget? So a lot of times, like I'll set that up too. And maybe this is for any fractionals out there who are listening, feel free to steal this tactic. When I talk to someone about budget for a fractional role with me, I'll start it with like, hey, I'm going to ask about budget now. But I want to be very clear. I'm not asking about your budget so I can find a way to justify you giving it all to me. I'm asking it so I can price my project so that I know with the resources you have available.
That right there.
Because that's the line that works pretty well. So if it's like, if someone says, oh, I have $60,000 in the bank right now, I'm like, don't even hire me for coaching. Go take that money, go invest in product, go take some time and just post every day on LinkedIn. Here are some people you should follow on LinkedIn on how to do that well, depending on who your audience is. Just do that. And then stay in touch, reach out if you've got questions, but like you do not have that. If you have, versus like, oh, we've set aside X amount for ABC. Okay, great. I suggest you do A and C, pause on B, and then here's what that costs. But you're going to need to put probably another 10 grand on top of what that number you just said, because you're still going to need to do, because you've way underpriced C. So like, I'm thinking like even with MKG and the work you guys do with like ads and stuff like that. So a lot of times people think, oh, I put 10 grand into ads, but that's nothing.
Nothing. It's not really, it really doesn't work until about 20.
Yeah. So it's like, I've had a couple conversations the past few months and made me think of MKG because I jump on like, oh yeah, well, we've dropped, 15K on ads. I'm like, over what time period? Oh, the past 6 months. And what did you think that was going to get you?
Yeah.
I mean, it would generate at least that much. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. At the end of the day, if you really don't have enough money to throw at ads in a really meaningful way, which like I said, for the client that I'm working with that I own, we do 20 to 25K a month across 2 channels, and in one market.
Yeah.
Just in one state. So if you're trying to be national as well, depends on your audience. It depends on lots of things, but generally 2025 is really where you need to start for Google to take you seriously and actually give you the right optimizations that you need and deserve. So SEO is another great option if you need to start slower. SEO is not dead,
No.
right, Ken? Not
It's
going
changed.
anywhere. It's changed,
but it's not dead.
but the fundamentals still apply, and SEO can definitely. I just had a client yesterday show up and say that he got another SEO lead that he's about to close. So, and he's small potatoes. So, yeah, SEO is definitely not going anywhere, and it's still a very viable channel in terms of driving great quality. It's probably some of the best quality you'll get as well. Where ads, you're not going to get great quality at first until the system figures out who you're really. That's why I was like, that $100 is so critical.
Yeah.
In terms of charging, it's going to give me better data to get better quality leads from ads.
Yeah. It's crazy too, because on the sales side, kind of one last thought, I think, because I have a feeling we're running up against time here. But sales side, I would say this, the number one thing that marketing gives sales is not leads. It's really not. Yes, of course we want the MQLs. Of course we want the leads. Of course we want that. But more than anything, and we need that reputation to be able to be established on one website click or one look at LinkedIn. If we have that, we can do our jobs so much easier.
It's true.
The leads help. Don't get me wrong, the leads help. But it definitely is an amplifier, and it's something that it took kind of going through this process for me to realize the effect that it had. So I'll also take this moment to apologize to all marketers for me not properly appreciating that I had that safety net underneath me for 10 years and I didn't even realize the impact that it was having. When I lost it, I was like, what happened? Why is nothing working? Oh, whoops.
Nobody knows about us.
I know. So it kind of definitely
makes a difference. It makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yep. The same client, somebody drove an hour because they wanted it in person, even though we do virtual. Yeah. They wanted it in person. They drove an hour. Well, clearly you know what you're doing because you're everywhere, was his response. Right.
Done.
Drove an hour. It's in person, so of course they're going to close. They're not going to drive that far to not.
And gas is expensive.
Yeah.
I mean, I live in Europe now. I refuse to drive anywhere. I'm public transit all the way, but like, that's expensive.
It is. So yeah, brand is currency.
Especially moving into ChatGPT and the age of AI, brand is going to be the only thing that's apart.
Oh yeah, those LLM referrals, if you look at your website, they're getting more and more if you're doing your SEO right.
Huge.
Yep, it's coming. It's coming.
It's
Ashleigh,
here.
thank you.
It's not coming, it's here.
It is here, but it hasn't. It is here, but it hasn't cannibalized yet.
Oh, it's gonna cannibalize. Awesome. Great.
Yeah. It's totally gonna be we'll have to figure. It's gonna be interesting to see what Google does in the next 6 to 12 months in terms of how paid it's going to fit into this. But I don't know about you, but when I go to Google, I just hang out in the AI. I don't.
Oh, I'm 50-50. Sometimes the AI, like if I'm Googling like something like a quick fact thing, yeah, the AI will answer it for me. But like the AI is actually pissing me off because I'll go to Google and be specifically looking for like a company because I want to go to their website. It's like, no, I know what they do. Just give me the freaking.
Yeah, that's different. That's totally fair. Yeah.
So,
but when you're on a search for trying to solve a problem, yeah, that AI deep dive,
converting Celsius to Fahrenheit.
all day.
Pounds to
all day. Ashleigh, I'm gonna guess where I'm gonna be. Not this Friday, but next Friday.
Are you coming to the Netherlands?
One night only. I'll be in Amsterdam.
Komt in Amsterdam. Lekker. Oh, het geld mooi. That's about all.
I have no idea what you said.
Yeah, you're coming to Amsterdam. It's really pretty.
That's why so I'm going to meet my mom in Belgium. We're going to stay in Antwerp and go to Brussels and see some of the markets and all of the things over there. And then we're going to spend our last night in Amsterdam before we fly out the next morning from Schiphol Airport. But we will be.
You're gonna literally drive right by me. Like, that's really funny. Like I live in a town called Leiden. You're going to drive up the A4 because I know there's only one road you can take to get from Brussels to, but the traffic in Brussels is no joke. It's the worst traffic in the world. I have a friend chat that literally is called Fuck Belgium, specifically because we were caught in Brussels traffic for like 4 hours. Have fun. But
we're taking the train.
There's only one connector up from like south of the Netherlands, and it's like 2 miles out. It's like a mile.
Oh, well, I will wave.
And a wave at me as you go by. You'll send me a little video. Like, I see you.
Yeah, we are so close, and yet so far.
What's really funny is if you're coming next Friday, I'm actually going to be in Amsterdam the next day doing a museum exhibit and dinner with my husband.
As I'm flying out. We're literally going to be.
Yeah, this is fun.
Ships passing in the night.
As Americans who now live in Europe.
Yes. What are the chances? Well, this was awesome. I'm so glad we got to reconnect and have. And yeah, marketing and sales. It's the dream team. Thank you all so much. This is our last podcast for the year, but we will be back the week of January 5th. We have a lineup already in the works for January. It's going to be a good one as we roll out a Cyber Marketing Con and pick up some of those speakers and have them on the show. So stay tuned, y'all. Thank you all so much for a wonderful 2025 and bearing with this rebrand that I just have absolutely loved, and appreciate you all. And we will see you on the other side. Thank you all so much. Thank you again, Ashleigh.
Of course. Cheers. Yeah.